Shanti, good morning. Baba's taking up two words, astic and nastic. Astic and nastic. And you find the word astic in the swastika, right? And astic means to know. And nastic means to not know. But it's translated as theist and atheist, which causes a fair amount of confusion because it actually doesn't mean that. And so we have to understand what Baba means by the words that he uses. There is a set of Greek words which are used in a similar way of astic and nastic. Theist and atheist is Latin derived, but the Greek derived words are gnostic and agnostic. And it's very well known that agnostic means you don't know. And Gnostic is not used much because there was a society of people who called themselves the Gnostics. And because of that, people don't use the word Gnostic in English much, but it is a word. So this comparison of astic and nastic is to do with the time when people know and the time when people don't know. And you know that very often it is said that the golden age is the day, and the golden age, silver age is the day, the copper age, iron age is the night. And then there is this other expression using three words, Gyan, Bhakti, and Vairagya, which you're familiar with. And so Gyan, which means knowledge, is applied to the golden age and silver age, where there isn't any knowledge, but there is the effect of knowledge. And so people are not enlightened in the form of knowing, but they are enlightened in that how they function is the way enlightened people would function if they knew. So they receive knowledge in the confluence age, and the sanskaras of knowledge continue through the golden age and silver age. And then the copper age and iron age is called bhakti. And in bhakti, people believe in God, but they don't know God. In the golden age and silver age, they don't know God, but they don't need to, right? But the confluence age, which is called Vairagya, that's the time when Shiv Baba comes and gives knowledge. But at the same time, Baba says the four ornaments of Vishnu cannot be given to Brahmins because Brahmins are flip-flopping between soul consciousness and body consciousness. So you know the knowledge in the confluence age, but forget it. And the period of the confluence age is when you are becoming knowledgeful. And in the golden age and silver age, where you don't have the knowledge anymore, but you have the sanskaras of knowledge, you remain soul conscious. And so this use of words that Baba gives us clarifies everything, but we have to make sure that people do understand. Because if you say people are theist in the golden age and silver age and atheist in the copper age and iron age, That's not actually true. But you can say they are agnostic in the Copper Age and Iron Age, which means they don't know. And then for the Golden Age and Silver Age, we would have to say they show the signs of having known, but they don't know. So it's quite precise, but we have to use language that actually means what Baba is saying. So
they know that they're a soul. They do know that.
They know that they're a soul, but if you call someone theist, it means they know God. But it doesn't reflect knowing or not knowing the soul. But if you use the word Gnostic, it means knowing, but not limited to knowing God. Whereas theist is limited to knowing God, but not just knowing God, believing in God. So accurately, it would be more accurate, I think, to say that in the path of bhakti, they believe in God, but they don't know God. And in the Golden Age and Silver Age, they're doing just fine. They're naturally soul conscious. They don't say, I'm a soul, not a body. They're just naturally soul conscious, you know? And in the confluence age, you're trying to be soul conscious all the time. But knowing the soul doesn't mean that you actually are soul conscious, right? Because there are many people who talk about the soul accurately, but in body consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Here, yes.
In the confluence age. So we have to think about these things. That's why we have study, so that we can think. And then because our function as BKs is to be able to not just only understand the knowledge, but we have to articulate it so that if we tell the knowledge to someone, they will understand what we're talking about, right? So therefore, I will adjust this word astic and nastic, which comes all the way through the murli, and I will leave it in the Hindi. Because it's very easy, just like you know Om Shanti and Man Man Abhav, you can know astic and nastic as easy words to know. So this is 12th of January. And the essence is, sweet children, in order to claim your full inheritance from the Father, and remember the inheritance is the knowledge. To claim your full inheritance from the Father, you must definitely donate the vices. And Baba's talking specifically about lust and become soul conscious. Since you say Mama and Baba, become worthy. So worthy means, this is another problematical word, worthy, layak. It's a Sindhi word, which means competent, capable, coherent, consistent, this type of meaning, which is not the same as worthy. The question, due to which one reason do some children who have become theists become atheists? So here it starts right from the question and answer. So from astic, those who know, you act like people who don't know, right? So the answer is because of body consciousness. Children say they know everything, but they do not stop acting as if they are body conscious in their old ways. After being shot by knowledge, the arrow of knowledge, a point means an arrow, you get hit by the arrow of knowledge, but you still continue to be shot, hit by the arrow of Maya. So those who have become theists, astic, they then become Gnostic. So they know, but they act like they don't know. So by forgetting I am a soul and must become soul conscious, they leave the lap of God and die. So it's all to do with whether you maintain your purity or not. The song is, if not today, then tomorrow these clouds will disperse. Om Shanti. That is a clock, normal clock. And this is the unlimited clock, the cycle. So you remember, I don't know if you do, but in the original picture of the cycle, they had two hands of a clock on it. Remember? Red ones. To show that it's about time. So a quarter, half, and full are shown on that clock as well as on this one. There are 4 parts, and each part is given 15 minutes. In the same way here, you begin with 1, and it is the day for half the cycle, and then it is the night for half the cycle. When you look at a map, at the North Pole, it is night for 6 months. And so at the South Pole, it would definitely be day for those 6 months. And here too, the day of Brahma is half the cycle, and the night of Brahma is half the cycle. Now, people of the world do not know that it is the cycle of the drama, which is also called the Kalpa tree. So all different kinds of time cycles, including the seasons. So what is the duration, the lifetime of the Kalpa tree? Its name is Kalpa tree, and there cannot be a physical tree which persists for 5,000 years. You do get these sequoias in Sequoia National Park, which are 2,500 years. But they would have started after the small destruction. Now, this tree is compared with that banyan tree, the one from Calcutta, not any other banyan tree. The foundation of that banyan tree has decayed, but the tree is still standing on the lateral roots. Therefore, it is remembered. One leg is broken and the other 3 legs are all right. So this is an idea, an analogy that the world is standing on a bull. So the planet is on the part where the horns are, and every so often the bull shifts and then the whole thing changes drastically. But also he has one leg broken. And so what is called as the deity dharma, which then becomes Hinduism, is not holding up the world. So the sannyasis, the Shankaracharyas, they gave extremely great importance to celibacy. And Baba said this is what held up India during the Iron Age, particularly the Iron Age. So no one in the world knows there is day for half the cycle and night for half the cycle. That means there is Gyan for half the cycle and Bhakti for half the cycle. So Gyan, Bhakti, and then in the confluence age, Vairagya. So it doesn't mean that there's knowledge for half the cycle, but the effect of knowledge. Because they have given such a long time to the golden age, hundreds of thousands of years, they cannot say that the cycle of time is divisible into half and half. They do not have any calculation. People do not even understand the meaning of astic and Gnostic. So the word astic refers for the first half of the cycle, knowledge, And nastic for the second half of the cycle, ignorance, do not know. So the inheritance of being astic, that means the inheritance of knowledge, is received from the Father. And no one knows when it is Shivratri, the night of Shiva. There has to be a time when the Father comes and changes night into day. So that is at the end of the Iron Age, beginning of the Golden Age, Confluence Age. Baba alone has to come and give us the fruit of our bhakti and liberate us from bhakti. So bhakti corresponds to ignorance, night, darkness, negative karma. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul definitely must come, and people call out saying, "O purifier, come." But they do not know who the purifier is, and this is why they are called Gnostic, that is, ignorant, agnostic, those who do not know. So those who know are also number-wise according to the efforts they make. So if you really know, you have to act on it. If you know but don't act on it, then people will say you don't know. So because of not knowing accurately, even those who stay here in Madhuban become those who get amazed by the knowledge. They listen to the knowledge, tell the knowledge to other people, but then they run away. That means they didn't get it in the first place. Baba's first command is purity, most important. There are many centers where people indulge in lust and then they also come and drink the nectar. But they are unable to imbibe the knowledge. They do not renounce this vice of lust. Those who stop drinking the nectar and drink poison, that means engage in lust, are called basmasur. So lust is passion. Passion means the fire of lust. So this is called basmasur, the devil who burned himself up in fire. So they climb onto the pyre of lust and they get burned. So they do not become deities. Deities are called cool. So cool, shital, like the moonlight. This is people who do not get into passion. So first of all, the donation of vice has to be given. And only when you donate this vice can you become worthy, that is suitable, to say Mama and Baba. Because incest is well known to be not okay. Right? Incest means you have sex with your relative, your brother, sister, mother, father, whatever. So everybody knows that's not okay. And if you say Mama and Baba, then it means you're all brothers and sisters. So that means any kind of lust is incest. So if you tell people that and they get it, they won't do it. But they don't think it's incest because they don't think they're brothers and sisters. So this is Baba's yukti to get people to be celibate. Then Baba says anger is no less. There's also fire, also passion. When people get angry, they start insulting each other, then they start hitting each other, and they might even kill each other. There are such news items printed in the newspapers. If you want to claim your inheritance from Baba, you must definitely give up the vices that have brought you into degradation, the lust. So Baba says, children, you have to be bodiless. You can't be bodiless and lustful. It's one or the other. So you have to be bodiless as you move along. Renounce body consciousness. You have been body conscious for so long. In the golden age, you were naturally soul conscious. You souls understood that you leave one body and take another. There is no Maya there, and therefore there is no question of sorrow there. So when there's Maya, there is deception. Maya is called deceptive because you perceive the world by sense perception, which motivates your action but becomes negative action. Then you have to pay for it by some kind of sorrow. So this is why there's no sorrow in the golden age. Here, if an eminent person becomes ill, it is printed in the newspapers, and they try so hard to save him. See how much regard is given to the Pope at this time. Even so, all the people are Gnostic. They do not know God. They do not know God the Father, and so they would be called Gnostic, not atheists, but agnostics. If a father has 5 or 7 children, would those children say that their father is omnipresent? This father says, I am the creator, and this is my creation. How could the creator exist within the creation? This is a simple thing, but people just don't understand. You must be separate from what you make. You make a cake, you are not the cake. This is why the Father continues to explain. First of all, make the Gnostics into Astics, those who do not know into those who know, so that they then say that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, truly is their Father, and that they must claim their inheritance from him. The money a girl is given as dowry in marriage is also called an inheritance. Now, the money is given to the girl, but the boy takes it, right? Most of the time. But it's not for him, it's for her. And then they change the rules, and she is not informed. They do not know who gives the inheritance of happiness and who gives the inheritance of sorrow. The people of Bharat have forgotten heaven. They've forgotten that it's a historical time. They think it's somewhere up. They speak of it as saying, so-and-so has gone to heaven, but they don't understand it. The Father says they have completely degraded intellects. They say things that don't have any meaning, incoherent. They sing, O purifier, come, but then they don't think that they are impure. The Father says, first of all, explain about Aleph, A, Sheep Baba. What is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? And when they say to you that they don't know, tell them, you do not know your Father. How is this? A physical father is the creator of a body, but the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the Father of all the souls. And you don't know that Father. This is a simple thing, but it doesn't sit in anyone's intellects or the intellects of some children. Otherwise, they would begin to do service. What is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? And what is your relationship with Brahma, the Father of the people? So that one, Shiv Baba, is the Supreme Father, and this one, Brahma Baba, is the father of the people. That means people with bodies. The father of people would surely be here on the earth. Have you ever heard the name of Brahma, the father of the people, Prajapita Brahma? How did the incorporeal Supreme Soul create the world? How? Ask them. So Brahma, the father of the people, is corporeal, which means that his children would definitely be Brahma Kumars and Brahma Kumaris. Only his children would become worthy of the inheritance. Worthy means you have the right in this case. So if you're not his children, you don't have a right to the inheritance. But even good children do not explain clearly with tact. It's not tact, but strategy. That means you have to be like a lawyer to have the arguments. So Baba's giving the arguments for your relationship with the Supreme Soul, your arguments for the relationship with the Prajapita Brahma, your arguments for the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul not being omnipresent. And then you have to prove it. So this is called strategy. Baba explains new information. But in spite of that, some children continue to behave in their old ways. That means they continue to function as if in bhakti, though in gyan, but still in bhakti. They do not imbibe anything new. That means they do not understand that the knowledge is not the same as bhakti. Many like that. They still have body consciousness. They say, we know everything. But because they don't know the first thing, they divorce the father. So the first thing is, I'm a soul. All souls are brothers. So they become Gnostic from Astic. They become ignorant from knowledgeable. They come into God's lap. They say, I am your child. And then they die. That means I'm not your child. Even they use the expression Mama and Baba and then see how they die. And they interact with their brothers and sisters with lust. So that's called dying. They were shot by the bullet of Maya. That means body consciousness, and they died. This is the bullet of knowledge, and that is the bullet of Maya. So the bullet of knowledge makes you aware of your relationship with one another, soul to soul, and the bullet of Maya, body to body. The Maya shoots them in such a way that they stop coming. The war of you Pandavas is with Maya. And the father explains, I am called the ocean of knowledge. What comes from the ocean of knowledge? The Ganges of water or the Ganges of knowledge? They have created an image of Ganga Devi, the goddess, Ganges goddess. But then it still doesn't enter their intellects who that is. I think she's the goddess of the water, not the goddess of the knowledge. Actually, deities cannot give anyone nectar to drink because deities come in the golden age. They don't need nectar and they don't have nectar. The sacrificial fire is created by Brahmins. So what is this? The sacrificial fire of the knowledge of the Gita, of Rudra, Shiva. How could there be a question of a battle in a sacrificial fire? Only sensible, knowledgeable children understand these things. Those who are fools forget these things. Fools means besamaj. It's not very bright. They put 2 and 2 together and make 65, not 4. So those who are sensible children understand the things. Those who are besamaj, they do not. So Samaj-Dar means they know, the knowledge. And besamaj, they don't know. So again, astik, nastik, Samaj-Dar, besamaj. In school, all are fortunate number-wise. So fortune, one of the things that Ijanki used to talk about is the quality of your intellect related to your karma. And if somebody has a good intellect, it's because in previous time they have enabled others to be educated. Then they will get a good intellect. But if you enable others to be misinformed, and in your next birth, you would not have such a good intellect. So in a school, some have better intellect, some have less good intellect. So according to your intellect, you create your fortune through study. Although some may have been going to school for a year, if they haven't paid attention, they would not be able to study. They wouldn't be able to take the exams. The Father is teaching you souls, whereas they are teaching body conscious people. It says human beings. Anyway, we're human beings, but they teach people considering them to be males, females, old, young, like this. The Father is asking, "Oh souls, are you listening?" No one else can talk to souls. You talk to souls, but thinking they're bodies. Here we talk to souls thinking they're souls. Shiv Baba talks to souls. That means he's talking to the person knowing their full number of births and knowing who they're going to become. The Father says, "Lucky stars, do you believe that I am teaching you? Do you believe God is teaching you?" Deep question. It is souls who do everything or enable it to get carried out. That means you delegate. Souls, as well as the Supreme Soul, are Karan Karavanhar. Just as a soul enables other souls to do something or tells other souls to do something, so the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, enables souls or tells souls to do something. The Father says, "I make you souls carry out a good task, good work. You must give everyone the Father's introduction. First of all, give them the questionnaire to fill out. This one is the Paralokic Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, and those are all physical fathers. Souls are not the same as bodies. A physical father is the father of a body, whereas the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the father of souls. He is the senior father, or the elder father. All the devotees remember him. He is the purifier. Nowadays, there are so many gurus who call themselves Jagat Guru, the world guru. So this title, Jagat Guru, actually only applies to God because he is the guru of everyone in the world. But a Hindu guru would not be the guru of Christians or Muslims or Buddhists. He can't be the world. And there are also many Jagat Matas who have arrived, many women gurus who have emerged. All of them are false. So it is with great difficulty that truth is recognized among all the falsehood. It's well known that wherever there is God, there are many, many false gods too. And they're more attractive, easier to understand, but they're deceptive. So they have given themselves very high level names, but truth cannot remain hidden. There is a saying, if you are true, you will dance. Now, this is a Sindhi story, which all the people in that community would know very well. And the story is there was a businessman trying to find out somebody who's honest. So to find them out, he created a tunnel and put diamonds along the way. And the candidates had to go through the tunnel. And then at the end of the tunnel, he would tell them to dance. That was a problem, because if they would dance, all the diamonds would come out their pockets, which they put in along the way. And then there was one who didn't take any diamonds, and he danced just fine, and he got the job because he was proved to be honest. He didn't steal. So this is what's the origin of this story, that if you are true, honest, then you can dance. So continue to dance. Dancing is a well-known thing to do. So if you become astic, if you know God and you imbibe everything, you will dance in heaven. Only the deities will dance. Means there'll be the effect of being true is nothing to hide, no shame, no trying to, prevent anybody knowing what's going on. So you will dance. The impure world is hell. Those gurus and holy men are not going to change hell into heaven or the pure world. This is called the extreme depths of hell. So yesterday I posted the videos where you can see all the 28 different types of hell. So you can find out what you do and what happens to you. Oh no, this is very specific. It's very specific. If you exploit people, such and such will happen to you. If you improperly have sex with women and then kick them out, then there's specific punishment for that. So all the various sins have specific punishments, and there's 28 categories of sin and punishment. So you can check your. This is from the Garud Puran.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. So when this expression, the extreme depths of hell, comes along in the murli, it refers to a specific kind of hell with specific kind of punishment. So Roar of Narak, there's Kumbipak Narak and Roar of Narak. These are the ones that are used in the murli. And so Roar of Narak is mostly for the people who exploit other people. And Kumbipak Narak is the people who misuse people sexually. And so then this is the most interesting kind of sin done by people who like to look like they're good and come in gyan, but they do these two things. So Baba says, don't think I don't know what you're doing. So heaven is called Shivale. So Shivale is translated as temple of Shiva, but of course we know that there are no temples of Shiva in heaven. But Shivale doesn't actually mean temple of Shiva. Shivale means the place of Shiva. So the place created by Shiva is heaven. So first of all, get people to write in the exhibitions, that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is their father. And he has created Brahmins through Brahma, the father of the people. So that means that we are Shiv Baba's grandchildren, which means we have a right to the inheritance because of being grandchildren. So he will give us the inheritance. He is also the ocean of knowledge. He gives us the imperishable jewels of knowledge through Brahma. So first of all, Brahma receives them, and then the mouth-born creation received them. So Shiv Baba, first of all, makes contact with Brahma Baba's soul in his head, right? And then it comes out of his mouth, and we get it once it's out of the mouth. So there are temples in India where there's Shiva temple, right? So they put water on the Shivaling, and then there is a little runnel where the water goes, and it comes outside the temple through a cow's mouth. So this is symbolic that the temple is the body of Brahma. So the knowledge of Shiva is coming drop by drop, and it comes out of the mouth of the cow, which is actually, when it's Brahma, it's not a cow, it's a bull. But the cow means the sisters. So Shiv Baba tells Brahma Baba tells the sisters, and the sisters tell everybody else. So this is how it happens. So at school too, someone who started late go ahead quickly because they study well. Here, you must study and teach others very well. Those who do not make others like themselves, that means make them as knowledgeable as you are, definitely have something lacking in them. And this is why they're unable to imbibe. If there is semi-intoxication of the vice of lust, what's that? Flirtation, and you do all the things except go all the way. That's semi-intoxication of lust. And if you do that, you can't say you're celibate. That won't work. So then you will not be able to imbibe anything. Some write, Baba, storms of lust harass me a great deal. They drive me crazy. And Baba says, children, yeah, lust is a great enemy, and you can only conquer it with the power of yoga. Otherwise not, because it's an addiction. And the only way you can conquer any kind of addiction is with that energy that comes from Shiv Baba that changes your energy from impure to pure. When it's like really bad, then they call it that. But actually, even when it's not really bad, so when Baba says, storms of lust harass me a great deal, that means in your mind, in your body, and you looking for ways to handle that. And that drive you crazy. So then Baba says, you have to have yoga, no other way to calm it down. And Baba says, you did conquer it in the previous cycle. You are sitting on the Father's throne, and there is the royal family after that. By becoming pure for just one birth, you will become so elevated. See, it becomes a problem that a person will like the idea of celibacy, but then when they start to practice it, all this other stuff will come up to the surface, which they were maybe not anticipating. So by not becoming pure, you will have a great loss. And death is standing just ahead. So many accidents continue to take place. Not as many deaths took place when it was the Rajopradhan period, so during the Copper Age. Now there is so much pomp. The pomp of Maya, this is to do with technology, airplanes, ships, all this. Previously, there were not so many machines, etc. And in earlier days, they did not use ships and airplanes for war. But all that has emerged now. They didn't exist before. So airplanes in war started in the First World War. And my grandfather was an airplane pilot in the First World War. And he crashed. But he didn't die. Because they were little mosquito planes in those days. They didn't go up very high. And an airplane crash was a bit like a car crash in those days. The mosquito planes were actually in the Second World War, but a mosquito plane is a little one, you know, it's made of plywood, basically, very light. So the planes existed in the Golden Age, so they would have to exist in the Confluence Age. And you will experience this happiness in heaven. So you will have airplanes at your disposal in the Golden Age, very good ones. And those who build airplanes will also be there. So some or other of these scientists and technocrats will go and become subjects in the Golden Age, and they will build airplanes for you. They will carry those sanskaras with them, and they will build them there. At the moment, they are built for destruction, whereas at that time, they will be used for giving happiness. And they will be, it says foolproof, but it's not foolproof, it's foolproof. Foolproof there. Destruction will take place through the pomp of Maya. So the science is called the pomp of Maya. Destruction definitely has to take place. And this sacrificial fire has been created through Brahmins, and the whole of the old world, I mean civilization as we know it, will be sacrificed into it. Sacrificial fires are created by those Lokic Brahmins, but it is you Brahmins who will receive the benefit of this sacrificial fire. Those who belong to the Brahmin clan will then belong to the deity clan. Shiv Baba creates Brahmins through Brahma, and then Brahmins become deities. This is such a straightforward matter, simple to understand. Is it simple or not simple? It's quite extraordinary. But Baba is amazed at some children. Some children are unable to imbibe such a simple thing. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada, and the spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children. Spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. The essence for Dharna, always remain honest with the father. After donating the vices, that means after committing to purity, don't become Bhasmasur and burn yourself up in sexual passions. Definitely follow the command of purity. Secondly, finish the subtle intoxication of vices. So the subtle intoxication of lust, all this games that people play. With the power of yoga, study well and teach others. And the blessing is, may you be an intense effort maker, fast effort maker, who follows Brahma Baba and who claims the first number by keeping your destination in front of you. intense effort makers, high-speed effort makers, always keep the destination in front of them. They do not look around here and there. Don't get distracted. Souls who claim a first number see, they see what's going on, but they don't look. They hear, but they don't listen to anything wasteful. That means anything that could disturb them. They keep their destination in front of them and follow Brahma Baba. Father Brahma considered himself to be the one who does, that means he does the action, and he never considers himself to be the one who inspires everything. So Shiv Baba inspires everyone, including Brahma Baba, and Brahma Baba does what Shiv Baba says. So this is why he was always light, even while taking care of the responsibilities. So as a trustee, so Shiv Baba's the boss. So follow the Father in the same way. If you think you're responsible, it's a burden and you may not make good decisions. So the slogan is, hear but do not listen to anything that might spoil your stage. Om Shanti. Experience the stage of being merged in love. The Father has so much love for the children that he writes such a long letter every day to give the response of your love for him. A murli is a 3-page letter, right? He gives love and remembrance and fulfills his companionship as your companion, surrendering all your weaknesses out of this love. Remain stable on the stage of being equal. Equal means like Baba. So in a relationship, there has to be equality. If it's someone up and someone down, it doesn't work. Right? Acha.
About the Golden Age cast, and I don't know if you know that TV show, Upstairs, Downstairs. And I said, is it like upstairs, downstairs? You're really got it bad if you're a servant.
Okay, understand. No, I don't know the TV show, but I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. The deity civilization is a monarchy, and there is a lot of hierarchy, and there's no exploitation. So what you will have is people having different statuses. But for example, the clothes that the servants wear are the clothes that were worn previously by the kings. So they have pretty good wardrobe. And, you know, it's a very, very wealthy society, extremely wealthy. So look at it like this, that the earth is absolutely bounteous, giving you unlimited anything you can think of. Plus, it's very high tech. For example, I don't know, there was a photograph in the internet of this Kate Middleton, the wife of Prince William in England, right? And she got herself photographed in designer dresses from Alexander Mcqueen. So Alexander Mcqueen is English fashion designer, very, very high end. He died, he committed suicide. He was a very unstable guy, but he was very, very good designer, very, very good. And the thing with royalty is they'll only wear it once, you see, and they get photographed or whatever. And then after that, where does it go? So If it's like super expensive these days, it'll go into a museum. But otherwise, people buy them and they go on auction. Yeah. So you will buy the dress for, a couple of $1 million, and then you'll wear it to a party and everybody will say, wow, wow, wow. And then somebody else will buy it. That kind of thing, So these days in this world, what we're used to, we don't deal with things like that because it's about a very large amount of money. But in the golden age, there's huge amounts of money, but they don't sell them, they give them. Everybody's living is the best of the best. There's nobody who has any kind of financial hardship. They are in perfect health. Relationships are very good. But the only thing is there are different statuses. And so instead of sitting in front, you sit at the back or whatever. There's that sort of difference. In the royalty, as it came into the Iron Age, you have, like, here we are in United States, and there's a big thing against kings and queens. But in America, you love princes and princesses, but not kings and queens. It's part of the culture. And this is because America was at one time a British colony. And the purpose of having colonies is that you take all the wealth and become very rich. And that means exploitation. And so this is why the kings of the 17th and 18th centuries, they would just loot everyone and take. And what you get now at the moment is many stories are coming out of Africa where the people who become the presidents loot the country and everybody is impoverished. But you see, in the golden age, there's nothing like that kind of relationship with the monarchs, because the monarch is trained by God in the confluence age, and the monarch's function is to make sure that everyone has everything they need, and plus they feel loved, cared for, they belong, so the monarch's function is to make sure that everyone is okay all the time. And there's no question of exploitation because wealth is completely overflowing. And people don't even notice if they're wearing this diamond or that diamond, because it's like nowadays you would wear buttons or something, So it's such a different world. And it's so different that people cannot even imagine that it's the same planet. Because the quality of matter is so good. The quality of people is so good. The way everything is running is so good. And it's very hard for people to imagine it. And the only way that Shiv Baba could really communicate it to people is by bringing them into trance and making them experience it so that they would know by direct experience. So the thing that's interesting about trance, which we also talked about a couple of days ago, Shiv Baba can activate an experience of what you experienced personally in the golden age, the last time you were there, which is a long time ago, so that you can actually experience in your mind through trance exactly what that place is and how that society runs. You see, but it's unimaginable here. I mean, what do people have? They have documentaries about Louis XV, which resulted in the French Revolution because the gap between rich and poor was so big. Whereas in the golden age, there's so much wealth and so few people, and the earth is so bountiful that there's hardly any gap between the rich and the poor, just different status. And so nowadays, at the present moment, as a direct consequence of this COVID and COVID rules, there has been a much big increase in the gap between rich and poor. And this makes the world very, very, very unstable. And it's a precursor for war. And there's nothing that makes war more than a huge gap between rich and poor. And right now what's happened is that it's the wealthy countries are wealthy, like here, United States is wealthy, but the poor countries are a lot poorer than they were, and they can't manage at all. And so then you start getting eruptions among the people. And within the United States, there's a big polarity between the 1% who has 99% of the wealth and the 99% who has 1%. And that means you do not have enough to live. The world becomes unlivable. And then the people go on the streets. And then you get upheaval. And it's middle class is disappearing. You're either very rich or very poor. And you see something like that, what does that do to a person? You know, you're going to resent it because you know that it doesn't have to be like that. It's exploitation. It's victim predator, you see. But in the golden age, this feeling, it's really called a feeling of family. So everyone is brothers and sisters, and the king is mother and father, and they have to take care of everyone. And they have the sanskar to do it. And all of this is being developed in the confluence age. And so, you know, a center, for example, which has people in it and people coming, is an environment where you have opportunity to develop this kind of thing, this kind of sanskaras. But as Baba frequently points out, there are some BKs who don't quite get it. And so he doesn't think that they're very knowledgeable. They're coming, but they're not being pure. So the main thing that creates victim predator is relationships based on lust. And if everybody is having a relationship based on a feeling of fraternity, it's much easier to make everybody equal, because lust means victim predator. It doesn't happen that other ways. And so he says the solution is everybody become brother and sister, and we live as a fraternal relationship. And then handle your anger, handle your greed, handle your attachment, all of this stuff. And then you will reawaken the sanskaras that are normal in the golden age. So this is what he calls knowledge in the golden age and silver age. People have the sanskaras of relating like that. In the iron age, people have the sanskaras of victim predator. And this big polarization. You have a small number of people have all the wealth, all the power, and they do whatever they want. And they control the legal system as well. So you wouldn't get justice either. That's why it's called hell.
Some people say, oh, without passion, there's no desire for getting out of bed in the morning, or for humanity, or passion for justice, or so that's, I think, the confusion.
Definitely. But otherwise, the word passion, it's like all these words, they get used differently. But and so being passionate about your hobby and this and that is a misuse of the word passion. but I can't do anything about how people change the meaning of words. But you need to know what I mean by that. So I hope it's clear. Surrendering in the form of giving away your inability to take power. Yeah, this is a very interesting kind of surrender. People are conditioned to be weak and to give away their power. I mean, the system of the patriarchal setup is like this. And so when you come to Baba, he says, you got all rights and everything, but you're so conditioned not to take them that you have to give up that conditioning and start taking them. Because you have right. You have right to the knowledge. You have right to be pure. You have right to be your own person. You don't have to be victimized in any environment. But you have to give up your tendency to get victimized, because there's a very, very strong conditioning. And you have to give up being naive. And like that. Is Atlantis somehow connected to the Golden Age? Well, it might be, because Atlantis is supposed to be somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. Yeah, between Europe and America. That's why it's called Atlantis, and that's why the ocean is called the Atlantic Ocean. And what we know is that there was small destruction where all the tectonic plates moved around and the geography of the earth became different. And so there are stories, the stories of Atlantis appear in Plato's work. So Plato was 500 years after the small destruction, right? It was not very long. And so the stories about it are there. And so it could be a reference to the Silver Age, maybe, because by the time the small destruction came, it was the end of the Silver Age. So the Golden Age gave way to the Silver Age by expansion, change of the dynasty. But memories that there was a great civilization is there. And the other great civilization that people look for is Mohenjo-Daro, which is in Pakistan, yeah. And so there's lots and lots of references. You see, the area covered by the Silver Age corresponds to India plus Burma, Thailand, parts of the Arabic world, and then it broke up, you see. So some of it may have gone to Africa, some of it may have gone to America, like this El Dorado and South America can be bits that moved away from this central piece of land. But we don't know enough detail. Baba hasn't said detail by detail about this, you know. This is really the divine comedy. There's all sorts of things happening. And there's all sorts of karmic accounts. You get, it's a very, very complicated game, the Confluence Age. You get powerful souls in weak position, weak souls in powerful positions. But Baba has warned that, okay, you may be able to do all kinds of bad things, but don't think that you will get away with it endlessly. And this is also the time of reckoning. And what we see is that sooner or later, circumstances cause that person to have to face the music. And in the meantime, you have to consider these things as tests, because there are many situations that come up and people say, Why doesn't somebody do something about it? What you have to say is, okay, the drama is complicated. It's got all sorts of things going on. Because the thing is this, wherever there is God, to the same intensity, to the same extent, there is also the force of evil. And you just have to come to terms with that reality. It is like that. A lot of religious people say, how can it be like that? If it's God, it must be everything is already heaven. But he says, no. Many times he says, wherever there is me, there is Maya, and big time. And so, you have to take this practice very seriously, and you have to understand that you may come up against something really nasty, and this, you have to figure out how to deal with it. And the main way that you can deal with it successfully is to have very strong yoga yourself, because you have to create a sphere of light around yourself so that you do not get taken out, taken down, or whatever. And, you have to see, if you're in a position of power, as Baba gives everybody power, right? Every so often you get power, right? All of a sudden you'll say, okay, such and such, go and become such and such position. And what does it do? Go to your head, right? And then you abuse the power. And then Baba says, D-. What else? You see, but people are so not with it. They don't get it. But it is going on like that. Then on the other side, you may have somebody who's very good, but no position. Okay, and you have to handle that. So this is why I ask people this question: what is better, to be a powerful soul in a weak position, or a weak soul in a powerful position? Usually people say it's better to be a powerful soul in a weak position. And yes, but if you're in a weak position, then you have to deal with a lot of injustice, insults, ill treatment, this and that. But you have to take it as a test, because if you don't take it as a test, it can confuse you and make you fail. But if you understand it's a test, then what do you learn from a situation like that? You have to be, say, for example, what is it? A person, you're a beautiful girl, and if somebody's not lusting over you, there's something wrong. Obviously, they're going to be lusting over you. What do you think? But you have to make yourself so inaccessible and so just out of the way, and so serious face, whatever, and not be in any way combustible, and not in any way allow yourself to be taken advantage of. You can succeed, but you have to be very good at making that happen. And they will play many games to get you to go along with that. What do you think the Me Too story is all about? Whatever is happening in the real world, you also get something corresponding happening in the BK world. That is absolutely as it should be, because in the BK world, we have enough power and enough information to face those tests. And in the real world, they really don't. But yet they do. Some take courage and they face it. And it's like, I see it as, this is an individual is a microcosm, and what's going on in the world is the macrocosm, And then in the BK world, I look at it as the midi-cosm. It's like a small version of the big world. And these exams will be there. And you have to understand that there is nobody who is going to defend you. You must understand that. You have to be able to defend yourself. This may or may not be nice, it may or may not be fair, but it's a reality. There's an expression, there's everything is fair in love and war. You heard that? And what that means is, if you have more weapons, more power, whatever, you think you can get away with bad behavior. And Baba makes note, okay, wait and see. And so, but when you are a person in a victim situation, what you have to learn from that is do not go along with the games that keep you victim and that get you to give away your power or break down your barriers. And, you know, sometimes you need a few tests so that you get the idea that, hey, wait a minute, nobody's going to defend you, nobody's going to take your part, whatever. You have to be strong enough to defend yourself. And when you are with God, really, those guys can't do anything to you. Men, women, seniors, juniors, whatever it is, you must use your power of discrimination to understand the game that's going on, be with God and neutralize it. This is really what you have to do. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know, Baba says this is war. And if you think it's a tea party, you haven't understood. It's not a tea party. At centers, there's a natural tendency to give away power. It's not a natural tendency, it's a setup. And you have to understand the game. You must understand the game. Life is a divine comedy. 1492, thank you. We are the hero actors, yes. So do not consider that you are just a little girl and you have to do what everybody tells you to do. Shrimat comes from who? Shiv Baba. Not BK this or BK that or BK the other. In the Nuremberg trials after the Second World War, where the Nazis were tried, right? And first of all, they did the people in low rank, I think, first, and then high rank, either way. But the people of low rank were asked, why did you do this? And they said, well, because that was our orders. And just before I came to San Francisco, I went to visit Dachau concentration camp. So you go there and you see the setup of a concentration camp and how it was done and all of these things. Okay. So who went in those concentration camps that were inside Germany, which were put together in about 1933 onwards? And the people who would go in those concentration camps were people who were against the government. It was not Jews, it was Germans, but who were against the totalitarian government. And then you find this thing is going on at the present moment, in 2022. There are many places in the world where people who are against the government are incarcerated in something that looks like a concentration camp, but they don't call it a concentration camp. and it's not publicized, right? Media not allowed. And the people who are the gods, if they don't do it, they get shot. So you find yourself sometimes in a very, very difficult situation. And so many of those SS people committed suicide rather than do that. Because it's a very, very difficult situation. And, you may find yourself in a situation, not quite that extreme, hopefully, but you may find yourself in a situation where you may see somebody doing something wrong according to your morality. But if you stand up for them, you will be pushed out of the position or pushed out of the center or whatever. This is the way the cookie crumbles. You must understand that. And either you follow your conscience or you prefer a position. That's the method that is used. It's global. And anything that happens in our environment is people who becomes a BK, someone from the world becomes a BK with various vices and various high ideals and various weaknesses and various strengths, like anybody else. And then you get tested every step of the way. Who is our tester? Shiv Baba. You talk about improv. You go in a situation. How do you handle that situation? He says so much. You are actors. This is a drama. And what makes us fail the test is the price you pay for doing the right thing. High price. But if you're rich, you pay. Isn't it? And so what does Baba tell us? Be soul conscious. Remember Baba, you have a war with Maya and you better accumulate power. And if you want to do the right thing, it will cost you. But have enough wealth of Gyan and Yoga. And why are you here? Why are you in Gyan? Why? You want to understand yourself and Baba and the cycle and everything, right? You're here for the knowledge. You want to become karmatit, I presume. You want to finish off your negative karma. And you want to represent God. Anything else? Not really.
Have fun.
No, I'm not here for having fun, me at least. If you have fun, you tend to trivialize things. So for me, that's not a high priority, having fun. I have a lot of fun playing with the jewels of knowledge. And we have a lot of heavy karma with each other because we've been together 63 births of body consciousness. That's quite plenty of time to accumulate all sorts of drama. It's all included in the drama. If we say why, I think the ultimate answer to the question why is it's destined. Because he talks to us about it's destined. All the things that are happening are destined. And then what you do with them, how you process it, is your purusharat, you see. And remember also this one thing, which we talked about yesterday. Everything that goes on, whatever you experience, is in your mind. Everything. So whatever you know about, or you come to know about, is all in your mind also, what you think about it, what you feel about it. But if something is happening right there, you're in a piece of drama where something's going on, what Daddy would tell us is Maya comes as a threat or as an attraction. And these two things going on together. And so all the time, there's some or another something trying to corrupt you all the time, day and night. So you get corrupted by some bribery of some sort. Oh, I will promise you this and I will give you that and da, 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 and you fall for it. That's called fail. Then you get into trouble and you have to get yourself out of it. And you say, why did this happen? And the answer always is, you're experienced now, right? Don't do it again. Don't be naive. Don't be stupid. In Gyan, in a way, it's just you, your perception, God, Shrimat. Okay, here you are, you're in a very difficult circumstance, complicated circumstance. You have to find your way through. Everyone is in that situation. And our conditioning is point the finger. This one is like this one is like that, this one is like that, which may well be true. But then Baba says, okay, look at it in a different way. Look at it as you're an actor. This is a drama, very full of good things and bad things and dramatic things and boring things and everything. And it's in front of you. Here's the knowledge. Here's the situation. Now, play your role. What will you do? Because you're being graded on how you do it. You see, there are some things that you can do nothing about, which is none of your business. So for that, you have to be detached observer. And there are some things, it is your business. You do have to do something about it, but you're afraid. Get over it. Have courage and do what's necessary. And understand that if you do the right thing, it will cost you heavy price. But what is better, pay a high price or compromise your soul forever? So you decide what's important. It's really about setting your priorities. Do not suffer for somebody else's negative karma. That's a deep point. Is there a possibility that Maya can also be an equal and important force like Baba? Definitely. It says very clearly in a murli, by the way, children, sweet children, the force of Baba and the force of Maya is equal. And it's up to you to tip the balance one way or the other. Baba doesn't want children to be worried. Well, don't be worried, but don't be foolish. And Maya is definitely 5 vices, but more things as well. Familiarity. How do I know if I'm putting out a vibration of sexual attraction or not? If people get sexually attracted, it doesn't mean that you're putting out a vibration. It just means that you haven't put up a barrier. You haven't understood that there's predators around. If you're a mouse in a field and the eagle is flying up above, it's not your fault that you're a mouse, but you better watch out, because he'll be lunch. But you see, when you assume that somebody will defend you, you haven't understood that they're unlikely to. They won't. You have to know this. Nobody will defend you. You have to defend yourself. There are people who will protect you. Seniors will protect you when they know something, but they will not, overtly do something to stop the person. Why? Because that person will use that situation to give even more trouble, and they know that. They're experienced. I see. So, the confluence age is not made up of a whole bunch of angels dancing around in pink fluffy dresses. No. It's all the time. This war is going on. So it's very important to know, okay, you're a spiritual warrior. You have weapons. Make yourself armed. Protect yourself. Baba gives us enough so that we can protect ourselves. What you need is a bit competence, and a bit courage, and a bit experience. So anytime you get assaulted and whatnot and so forth, learn from it, because you're still alive, and don't let that happen again. And it is really up to you to assert your power. A Shiv Shakti is really dangerous, because a Shiv Shakti who's got the bright light of God inside, that is terrifying for anybody who wants to take advantage of you. So you must make sure that you have that. And Baba trained the Kumaris to be like that. Don't imagine that, this is a little Tupperware tea party. It's not. You say, but it should be. Well, maybe it should be, but it isn't. You have to understand what it is. These are people, including your good self, who is spiritually depleted, plenty of karmic accounts, lots of vices, all put in a pressure cooker with the heat turned up. You expect it not to explode? You're dreaming. It will explode. But you have to look after yourself around it and enjoy the game, because don't let yourself be a victim. How do you deal with someone who's jealous of you? Daddy Janki used to talk about this, because a lot of people were always jealous of her, and people who are jealous of you put you down. They try to harm you. They try to take you out and this and that. You can look at the Shakespeare play called Othello. It talks about jealousy. And generally it is, you have to really arm yourself, because jealousy means somebody will do anything and everything possible to take you down, to blacken your image, to say bad things about you, and. It's okay, don't worry. But understand who you are. Don't let it make you doubt yourself. And just be in your power and step aside. You don't need to be, I think you have to see your, one thing is naivety. This is a really big problem in BKs, very naive. And another is your desire for acknowledgement, appreciation, perks, recognition, blah, blah, blah. You're not here for that. It comes, it doesn't come, but that's not why we're here, right? What we're doing is something on the inside.
I haven't done a lot of traveling, so I get jealous and I wonder if I should ask them about it. And I said, well, they wouldn't understand about it because they've traveled, so they've never gotten jealous about people talking about travels. But always in the BKs, for 30 years, and when I was in Tahiti doing service, or Hawaii doing service, or Germany. I get jealous.
Oh, okay. But you get jealous, but not
don't
like
wanna
in a
get
really
mad.
bad way. No. So that's not called jealous. No. I mean, it's again one of these uses of the English words. And when you say, oh, I wish I was also going there, and you call that jealousy, that's not jealousy. That's like, I don't know what word we could use, because people always use the word jealous for it, but it's not like real jealousy, which you will harm the person you're jealous of.
Oh, okay.
So I think you're just saying, oh, I wish I could be there too. But that's like normal. If you didn't feel like that, there would be something wrong, you know? But of course, yeah, I would like to be on holiday as well. That would be nice. But that's not really jealousy.
There are few words like envy, admiration.
Yeah, you know, it's always a problem, these words. These are emotive words, and they have like degrees, all the way from slight, tiniest little bit to extreme. But the same word covers that whole spectrum. And so we just have to understand by how extreme, by how the person acts on it. I see. But it's a competition, right? Sometimes Baba says, you're horses, this is a horse race. You're trying to become Lakshmi and Narayan. And there's 1 million contestants for one place. And so in a competition, like for example, in the world of ballet, classical ballet, someone wants to be the prima ballerina, right? She'll break the legs of the competitor. That's competition.
That happened in the Olympics.
It happens. It happens. And in BK, it can happen very easily. But this is why he says it's a real drama, you know. And so to be discreet is a good idea. Because if you're out there visibly something to be jealous of, then that's not discreet. It's a kind of royalty to play down your achievements or things like this. It's royalty. Because, okay, you may have achieved something, you may have received something, but it doesn't prove or disprove that you're better or worse than somebody, you know. So to be just like with everybody is better. But, you know, what happens is you get offered a position, and then it goes to your head and you start behaving in a certain way, and people will not like it, you know. Naturally, this is normal. One question, why is vices referred to as horses? Sense organs are referred to as horses because in the Gita, 2nd chapter, there is a very good statement there saying, I can't remember it offhand exactly, but it says like it goes back to this passion. There's an energy of vices which carries you away like a wind carries a boat over the ocean and takes you totally away from where you're headed. Very amazing statements are there in the Gita. It really understands what happens to someone who's trying to go to God, and Maya doesn't want that. And so anything and everything will be done to get in the way of it. So I think we should stop now. Om Shanti. Okay, so let's just have a moment of silence.